All right, so we are up to day 139 of going through my old journal. The quote for today says, "Your body is your most priceless possession. Take care of it." In what ways can you take better care of yourself? What do you need to give yourself more of? So if you're following along, just take a minute to think about how would you respond to this. And let's see what I said. All right. I've already been taking some steps to take better care of myself. For the past several months, I've been walking for at least an hour every day. I've also been stretching a little and doing a light lower body workout daily. I've recently added a light upper body workout daily and hope to expand on this a bit more in the future. I've also been making sure to get enough sleep every night and have been eating somewhat healthier. But I feel like the main area needing improvement is my diet. I generally only eat once a day, but I've been eating a lot during that one meal. I've also been drinking 1 to 2 small sodas throughout the day on most days. These seem to help me focus and work better, so I'm not ready to give them up just yet. But if I ever get to the point where I'm caught up, I'll try cutting back and hopefully eliminate them. I guess those are the main things: diet and exercise. Exercise is going well, diet isn't quite there, but I think it's still better than a lot of people. So yeah, I guess like I focused on the body because that's what the quote is, but it says, in what ways can you take better care of yourself? So I didn't include like the mental part of it. And I do think now that is like a big part of it, because when you're doing, see, I think it like goes hand in hand. So I do think like being a little bit more focused on like my physical health has helped my mental health to some extent. And it's not just the physical part. I think it's the routine. And I mentioned this a couple times before, like I think just having the routine has really helped me. And so maybe it's not even necessarily that I'm like doing the physical work. It's just like having a routine, and it just happens that going and walking every day has helped me to build a routine, I guess, if that makes sense. But yeah, this has been something I've been thinking about a lot for the last few years, because when I was younger, when I was in my 20s, I always said like, okay, well, I know that my diet is terrible. My diet has always been terrible. Like even if I wasn't overweight, I always knew like I'm just fortunate to be able to eat this badly and not have like health problems. And there was always a part of me that was assumed that I would become diabetic at some point because of how many sodas I drank. I was literally one of those people that I said, I don't like water. I just can't drink water. And yeah, like I would not drink water. Like I literally lived off of sodas from the time I was in middle school until more recently. And I knew that it wasn't a good thing, but I also was like, well, I enjoy it, so I'm going to keep doing it. And I just kept saying like, well, whenever I get 30, I'm going to start like trying to be better. And, you know, and then 30 came and it didn't happen. And I also, a part of this was like watching other people in my family. And I have a video from like a while back where I, you know, talk about how I really want to focus on changing my lifestyle because of like watching family members struggle with bad health. And you know, I feel like if I am gonna live to be older, I don't want to take like my last 10 or 15 years to be like alive but like not physically able to enjoy life, which was kind of what happened to my grandparents. They both lived up into their 80s, and both of them passed away within a year of each other. 2017 my grandfather passed away, 2018 my grandma passed away. But like even for like 10, 15, 20 years before that, like their quality of life wasn't terrible. Like they for the most part, they enjoyed my life. My grandpa least, because he was very like, he liked to get out of the house. He liked to go and do things. And when it got to the point to where he couldn't get around as much, he couldn't drive, he couldn't see, like that was really when he started, yeah, that I could tell there was like a lot of mental like grief for him with that. My grandma, on the other hand, she was okay with staying inside. She was okay with, you know, just sitting in front of the TV. But I mean, there was years where she would only leave the house maybe once a month, or once every couple of months, just to go to doctor's appointments. And I think she had a high pain tolerance, but like, I think she was just always in pain and aching a little bit. And I saw that and I was like, well, you know, I'd like to live to an old age, but if I do, I would want to be healthy, you know, while I'm living to that old age. And they had a friend, this woman who was their age, but she was, and you know, some of it's genetics too or whatever, but she would go out and go for a walk every day, and you know, just had healthier habits and a healthier lifestyle. And the reason like I felt like from a younger age I knew that I would need to change my lifestyle, because my mom, I remember specifically, like, she didn't eat well. She, you know, didn't live a healthy lifestyle, but she still looked good for a long time. Like, she still looked young, and she still, like, she even smoked. Like, she smoked. She didn't eat healthy food, didn't drink water. But then it was like overnight almost, like when she was in her 40s, her early 40s, just all of a sudden, like, you could tell, like, she just didn't look healthy anymore. She started putting on weight and all this stuff, but she wasn't really doing anything different. And I was like, okay, well, I can't just expect to keep living this way like my mom has always lived and be healthy when I get into like my 40s and 50s. And I had wanted to start changing by the time I got 30, but that didn't really happen. But it's really been within the past couple of years that I've been actively trying to make changes. And if you think that you can't, like, for some people it will be harder. Like, it was definitely a transition for me, and I failed like a lot of times. You know, there was times that I would be on it and be eating healthy and be active and doing all these things, and I felt like I was getting it together, and then, you know, you get off and, you know, it can just like go back completely. But every time I felt like I've made progress, and this time I've definitely made a lot more progress. And I think the mental progress too, like better understanding myself, and again, having a routine. With the routine, I've been able to notice like patterns in my moods, patterns in my energy, and I think it's helped me to stick to the routine a little bit better, because I understand myself a little bit better. I understand that, you know, there's like a certain time of the month where I'm going to be hungrier and I'm going to want to eat more, and, you know, just not try to stay so rigid in things and just try to listen a little bit more to my body. But yeah, like, you've got to cut out the processed foods. Like, the more stuff that I watch about like sugar and how that's kind of taken over all the foods that we have, and how my appetite is whenever I'm eating, you know, more processed food and more fast food and things like that. I eat more than I normally would than when I'm like off of that. And like right now I'm off of that and I feel really good. But I know there's been times that I've been off of it before and then I've, you know, gotten back on it. So, but overall I feel healthier now than I have like in probably any other time of my life. And I feel more in control of things, and I'm hopeful that I can, you know, get past, you know, that stage in my early 40s, if that's when it's going to hit for me, that things change. And at least if it doesn't, I feel like I've developed just trying to do these things to make me healthier. At least I have like the knowledge of if it does happen, if something goes negative. Because at this point, I haven't really had any negative health things happen. But I just want to like prepare myself for like, if it does happen, you know, I've got, I think, the skills and the knowledge and the experience to be able to make a change, if that makes sense. But yeah, I will say if you're feeling unhealthy and you feel like you want to make a change, just try to do something. Like, just start small. Like I said, I've like built it up. Like this time around, instead, like what I normally do is like, okay, I'm gonna make a change and I'm gonna do all this stuff and I'm gonna do this all at once. And then with my personality, the way that I do that is I'm really motivated up front, and then the motivation goes away, and then I just fall off of everything completely. But with this time, instead, I've just kind of built it up. Like I said, I started with just walking every day, and then I've added in, you know, the little bit of exercises, and then, you know, and then it's just kind of gone from there. And so, yeah, I feel like the one thing that I don't like about working out, though, is that I feel like it's a waste of energy. Like, one of my cats just came in. I feel like sometimes I'm like in the gym and I just like start looking around and I'm like, all of these people are exerting all of this energy to move these weights that's doing like nothing really productive. Like, it's productive for their bodies, it's productive for them to stay healthy, but I wish there was like a way to work out and utilize all that energy that you're using at the gym or running or doing your workout for something that's like getting something tangible done. You know what I mean? Like, a part of me is like, is there a way you could put together like a farm workout? And like, because I know there's been times that when I would try to get into gardening and I would like pull weeds and my legs would be so sore the next day because I've just been like squatting down and coming up, but it didn't feel like I was working out because I was doing something. I was pulling weeds. And I was like, man, I just wish there was some way that like we could combine like working out with like doing something physical that's actually getting something done. And I try to think of like, how would I put together like a farm workout if I had like a farm? But I don't know how that would work. But that's the only thing that I have against like gyms and gym workouts. It's like, you're spending this time and energy to do something it's a benefit to you, so that's why I do it. Like, I do think it's a benefit to my health, but I just wish there was a better way that I could get my workout in a way that was like accomplishing something more than just working out my body, I guess. But anyway, that's what I have for that day, and I will be back tomorrow. I guess it's on today 1:40.